Come along with me, Susan Feller, as we explore the first venue for this exhibit.
Welcome to Stories Are Made Loop by Loop at the Virginia Quilt Museum. I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the exhibit. Typically enter, and the display case shows you the tools, equipment, and certainly materials and inspiration for our rug hooking. The International Magazine Rug Hooking. Not just wool fabric, but clothing, yarns, and I forgot to put in this case even plastic bags. Inspiration from many artists from past generations. Look at the artwork reflected in this case. These are the artists that are featured in this exhibit as we go to the Clay Center, Juliet Art Museum in Charleston. I'll be adding 2 more artists. That's in spring of next year. This piece is actually one of the 2 that inspired me to start this collection and expand the stories that are here. Cheryl Bolenbach's work was exhibited at Souter Village Rug Hooking Week last year. I do the gallery talk on the celebration winners, of which she is one. Came around the corner and saw this piece and was stunned by the messaging, by the materials. So it says urban icons. She's portraying homelessness, veterans issues resulting from PTSD, and also the opioid crisis. So one very powerful story of many. Next we have Meryl Cook from Nova Scotia. Quick background on Meryl. Her change into journaling and healing happened through a health scare. And from that, she's become an inspirational, motivational speaker, and rug hooking is the medium that she helps people journal their thoughts and then create dynamic designs. As we pull the loops, we are meditating, and all of these artists are working with the slower method of creating loops one at a time with a hook or a punch needle, and as they're doing it, they are exploring the topics. So this is Mary Lopez de Morales, a veteran, U.S. veteran, now living in Canada. And the particular piece is inspired by a poem she wrote, The Valley of Thistles. The thistle is a symbol for survival and persistence. And that subtle wording in the background that you see is something that she puts in all of her work. We are, and then in this case, the visual thistles. We are strong, we are persistent. In this particular subject, she's talking as a veteran and discussing military sexual abuse. Very powerful story. This is the second rug that inspired me to pull this entire collection together, and this is by Terri Todd. Again, it was at Rug Hooking Week last year. I followed Terry's work from the year before as she created this in a workshop. She talked about it and shared it for the very first time. And myself and the participants all encouraged her to submit it. It made it into celebrations. It's talking about, it's in reference to years earlier, a small doodle sketch that was 2 by 2 inches, and now it's 48 by 48. She revisited her sketch on done during Depression period, and felt if she blew it up larger and worked it through during COVID, that she would be healing herself again and also showing a visual for others. Breaking the Cycle by Elizabeth Miller from Maine is a really important piece for her 4 sons, and the words and the steps that they were able to progress are also her journey, changing her personal upbringing and her family's understandings and ways of developing children to a more successful outlook. And she's quite happy with how her parenting skills have developed for these young adults now. All these stories are really important pieces to inspire each person as you visit the museum or see the catalog online, to think about your own personal stories and how you can portray them and how they will definitely affect other people who see them, either triggering their own stories. In this collection, I've put out a reading library for people. Many of the books are authored by the participants, and others talking about skills such as portraits, hooking them, the Rug Hooker's Bible. But when we look at Heritage Skills by Elizabeth Miller, Mothering by Karen Miller, Eyes of the World and Traveling, just being able to depict memories of travel in wool. And here we have Merrill Cook's One Loops at a Time, her book that she created. I've authored Design Basics for rug hookers. It's also for any artist. And the tome about really the history and the inspiration community of creativity by Mary Shepard Burton. In continuing the exhibit, we have a really innovative artist, Domenica Zara Queen, who has a passion to eliminate the waste that plastic industry, petroleums have created in all of the packaging. And she is exploring all the traditional handcrafts of her heritage using only plastic. So look at the shine in this piece. It's because of the material. And I think that's an important item to realize that depending on your material, you use silks, you use plastics, even wire or paper. It's a different look, light catches it differently than if you're working with the more traditional fabrics of wool. All recycling. This wonderful collection is only 7 of the almost 30 pieces that Karen Miller calls her In the Shadows series. She's tracing in sort of little snapshots her interaction with family members and how they grow, how they're together or interacting as children, as family members, as a mother with her 2 children, and their aging, and then certainly the playfulness of them, all in shadows. By doing that, the actual detail in the personality of individuals is gone, and you're just looking at shapes. So you too can be part of this shadow series. To finish up the collection, we decided to put an interactive display where people are encouraged, even not knowing how to do it, to pull a loop. I have a hook set up for everyone. We have a piece started, and these 2 squares I did, And this is what the public has been working on so far. Really good work. There's their supplies. This is the way we sit and work away. And we have very basic directions that had been provided by Rug Cooking Magazine over the past years.
In the gift shop, the books and hooked pins by myself and Merrill Cook are available.